my goodness. What am I doing here? This is Pride and Equity. I'm going to try and share with you a little bit about me and what I do in the industry. And it may have sounded like I do a lot of things, but I want to tell you something. It's because I'm an old senior citizen. I don't feel old, but I've had a lot of years that I've been able to dedicate to things that I felt moved me and inspired me and were important to me. So um, as Nikki was saying, that I grew up with herbs. I was learning to massage and cup and use moxie herb burnings on meridian points when I was very young, and I thought that everybody did that. But I soon found out it was special, and I felt like, wow, that's real ancient medicine, long before pharmaceuticals, and I felt like that was real medicine too. So it's very fortunate I was there and that my father had that gift. He was also shared with me the joy of cooking too. So that's how I got into being a chef, was definitely because of my father. My mother's good too. So, but I did grow up and I was born and raised in Southern California. And I didn't think that anything was different about me, but people would keep on pointing it out to me with questions like, what are you? And when I got older, a little bit sassier, I sometimes, depending on who it was that was asking, I would say, I'm a female Homo sapien. Why? What are you? And of course, they would get a little taken back. And well, they said, well, you know what I mean. I said, yes, I know what you meant, but it's not what you asked. And so I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm being this little educator. So I always felt very comfortable sharing and educating, and not to be judgmental in it, but just to equalize the conversation. And that's what I think I always look for, the equalization of us human beings, to humanize that interaction. I I felt like I was a very shy girl, um, but I definitely grew out of that. And I just felt more comfortable. As you get older, you get into your own skin. So, um, but I knew that I was different. I knew my family looked different than other people around us. And I really had a defining moment when in third grade, we found out the third grade class musical was going to be Sound of Music. And I loved Sound of Music and I loved singing. I thought, this is perfect. I very short. So I thought, I'm going to be able to sing like one of the kids. And, I'll fit right in there because I can sing and I'm going to love it. And it's so raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens. And I remember when I was raising my hand that, yes, I want to try out to be one of the kids. Somebody said in the class, she can't be in that. She doesn't look like the others. I was devastated. I felt like I am different. I'm not like the others. So do I not belong? And I was crushed because I loved singing. And I learned to appease those different judgments of that I looked different. Throughout the years, I learned to keep quiet, keep my head down, and don't rock the boat. And it's because I was Asian. And I did learn that something very terrible happened to my family on both my parents' side. My parents are born here in the United States, but during World War II, they were put into American concentration camps. It's not that prevalent in US history books in elementary, junior high, and high school. It should be, though, because people who looked like the enemies, even though they were American citizens born here, were put into concentration camp, having everything taken away. And my mother graduated from high school from a concentration camp. And about 12 years ago, I actually took her back there to a concentration camp. It was in Jerome, Arkansas, in the South. And it was devastating for me to really know what they went through. But she was happy. She had lived a good life. and she's actually going to be 95 this year and living a great life. So I knew that that whole section of her life was because she looked different. And we are judged by that, but we really shouldn't be. Because I know myself, I look at all my friends of rainbow colors that meant something to me. And I was very honored to be able to have friends of any nationality there is. So, and when I was really young and in high school is when I first tried cannabis. But I knew one thing, when I was in that circle of friends, I felt I found my tribe. I really related it to us smoking a peace pipe and passing that doochie to the left-hand side. And everybody I smoked with, I met eye to eye, level to level, heart space, because I know it made me feel different. It gave me a sense of inner balance and peace and clarity. And that's why I knew this was my good medicine. So I went through high school with those experiences. And as I got into college, I thought, what am I going to do in college? I went to business, but I had a special interest in music and film. And I ended up working in the music industry and interning with amazing capabilities to travel around and, be with creative artists. And I don't know if you ever remember the Knack. They did a song called My Sharona. I coordinated the record signing at Capitol Records. And I also was there when the Police first played on the West Coast. That's Sting for you younger generation. And a real oldie is that I knew Van Halen very well too. And I was there when they first got signed through contacts made at the Starwood, which is this amazing club in LA. And um, but I left the music industry because I saw my friends being harmed with alcohol, pharmaceutical drugs, and just abusing it. And they were losing their lives. And I thought, I need to get back to my natural medicine, my roots. So I left the music industry and started studying my path of Ayurvedic Chinese holistic medicine. And it led me to go to Esalen Institute, which was in Big Sur, as well as CIIS and Alive Polarity Institute off of Orcas Island. And so then I found myself in Santa Cruz, where the Twin Lakes Holistic College is. And I was studying acupuncture, midwifery, as well as rebirthing. While I was there, I was a chef at the Natural Food Store Staff Alive, and I met a man over the granola bin, and I thought, I'm not really ready to get married, but if I was to get married, I'd want to make sure that they didn't drink, smoke, or take drugs, but definitely smoked cannabis, was spiritual, had a good, kind heart, had great goals, and was just a good person. And I found that. And he was also very good looking. So it was just perfect. We fell in love. And during my studies there, I remember seeing something about rebirthing and underwater births. And I remember saying to him, boy, if we ever get pregnant, I'd love to have my baby born underwater. And 3 months later, I was pregnant. And so I was the third person who had a baby born underwater. But I couldn't find a midwife or an OBGYN, so I actually birthed my son myself. When my husband was with me in what was called a float to relax tank. It had the top taken off. And then I ordered 200 gallons of purified water, and I mixed up a saline solution, the same pH balance as amniotic fluid. And that's how I gave birth to my son. I would say that I studied very intently on this, and I knew my body and I knew my balance in this, and I was just very fortunate. I did have people there, but they didn't have any birthing qualifications, so I just very well trusted myself. And my son is now going to be 40 years old, and he has 6 medical dispensaries in Oklahoma, so I'm very proud of him. But after that, everything's all good, and we were raising my son, but something was off. I was a truth seeker. I was always trying to still study and find the truth in everything. And I knew that, something was wrong in our relationship. So next time when I decide to get married, I know I'm going to pray for one more thing on my list, that they be heterosexual. So my wonderful husband, former husband, is gay. But I know one thing, it led me to be the best woman I ever could be. And he is a wonderful father that my son could ever have. And he did do one thing right in giving me my son. Well, I'd have to say he did it more than once, but that's a whole other story. So there I was, still underground with cannabis. We couldn't be out with cannabis. We couldn't be out with psychedelics too. So I decided that I was going to keep everything underground. And I started working in the film industry with film festivals. And then I expanded to surf film festivals. So I was traveling all over the country with surf film festivals. But everywhere I went, I found my tribe of cannabis. And I would be able to learn what other people were doing to be able to find things about how to make yourself well. And I definitely knew about what was happening medically with cannabis, but I felt like I'm always going to have to be underground. So in the early 2000s, I started an edible company, and it was very volatile then. And I remember making my edibles and taking them to places, but then they'd be shut down the next week. And I thought, I really need to work on education. I thought I'm definitely past middle age, getting there, and my son was now grown in college, and I had been everything from a PTA president to on the Little League board. So I thought, I'm going to straddle everything here from the left side and the right side and bring it forward. So in 2013, I started the USW channel, the first cannabis-based network on Roku TV. But we started it before there was any advertisers to be there. And then I left that after about a year, and I started definitely being a part of Normal, and then the Cannabis Chamber of Commerce, and being able to speak at different conferences and share, and just doing different companies. We had a delivery service and a cultivation, and we had a farm in Southern Oregon, and then it came to things like meeting people. And through that positive networking, I met a man who had a resort in Jamaica that he really wanted to share about cannabis medicine. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. I want to help him. And I just started out just helping him. But now I've definitely put in what's called sweat equity. And I'm now one of the owners of Coral Cove Wellness. And we are a cannabis and fungi medicine education center. I'm so blessed, so grateful, because I know that I went through life being able to discover who I was, because I always had a thought in mind. If I haven't tried it, let me try it and see if I can. And certain words came to mind, like what I wanted to do, my accomplishments and my ambition, the clarity to my thought, and taking action on those clarities, as well as challenging my commitment, having that confidence, and having the courage. I didn't know I had that, but I knew that I deserved to be in that space to share about good medicine for people. And I knew that I helped people. I was open to helping people all over the world, no matter what. So right now, I have to think about what came this past year, because it was monumental. With the pandemic, I had a mindset. I wanted to reboot myself, reboot my consciousness, the world around me, because I was diagnosed with cancer at the end of 2019. I had ovarian, uterine cancer that metastasized to my ovaries. I had stage 4 cancer at that time. And so during this year, the pandemic, and through COVID, I actually just took care of my cancer with natural plant-based medicine and the good medicine from people who did share it to me. I didn't share it publicly, but I knew what I needed to do. Thank you so much to all those healers who have been doing research through the years and people who've been standing up for good medicine, the Jack Herrers, the Steve DeAngelos, the Dr. Raphael Michelin, Dr. Sue Sisley, Dr. Bonnie Goldstein, Dr. Uma. And I also want to say thank you so much to the 200,000 people of African descent and brown-skinned people who are in prison right now for non-violent, simple possession. We need to do something about that. Thank you to the Last Prisoner Project. I want to say that through this, it's made me authentic. To be here with you now with Tokeativity for pride and equity, I'm proud that I have had the love of gay, lesbian, LGBTQ, of people of color, of people who mean something to me. Everyone has the potential to reach out, make a difference, and be authentic. I want to say there's certain things I want to have take with you to inspire you, to keep you a part of this amazing cannabis community and what it allows us space. Be strong, to believe in yourself. Be brave to follow your heart. Be grateful to every day that you're here, to know that you have the chance to give back and give to yourself, mind, body, and spirit. And I want you to be free enough to give a smile to somebody, because you never know who that person was who could really need that right now. And I do want to say to the ladies of Tokeativity and even the gentlemen and every speaker on here that I've loved listening to, everyone I've connected with, I feel like the nuns at the Abbey are the people at Tokeativity, and you have allowed me to sing my favorite things. You have given me my raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, that I could be able to share how everyone out there has the potential to be a part of this cannabis community, to make a difference, to reach out to anyone, no matter what they look like, because in our heart, we're all the same color, and we have the right to be here and give back to our wonderful, conscious community of cannabis. So thank you so much for allowing me this time, this space, and may we all find our peace within as we breathe deeply. Thank you so much.